Black Friday is just around the corner and I'm having the biggest sale of the year in my business starting on November 21st. If you've been eyeing a Show It template, an add-on template, or one of my courses, you will not want to miss these deals. Just trust me. Best deals of the year. Head over to elizabethmccravy.com/BF, short for Black Friday, to join my email list and make sure you don't miss the sale. That's elizabethmccravy.com/BF, also linked in the show notes, and the sale starts on November 21st. Now here's today's episode. Hey friends, welcome back to the Breakthrough Brand Podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth McCravy, and today I have a quick and actionable episode for you talking websites. So we're talking about your website and really the simple question of is it working for you, or is your website actually hurting your business? Because yes, sometimes the quote unquote, just have a website actually isn't the answer. And it's possible that if your website is hurting your business, it'd be better to bypass the website altogether. Now, of course, that's not what I'm recommending as a website designer. I would love for you to have a website you love and that helps you bring in customers and clients. But sometimes it is better to just forego the website if it's really messing things up. So if you've ever wondered, is my website actually working for me? As in, is it doing the job it's supposed to do? Then this is your episode. We are doing what I'm calling a 5-minute website audit together right here, right now. You don't need any fancy tools. You don't need a designer. You don't need any stress. We're going to be really chill. You don't even really have to get out your computer even. You can do a lot of this from your phone. So 5 simple checkpoints you can walk through today to see if your site is helping you or maybe quietly hurting your business. So if you're driving, walking, nursing a baby, working out, sitting at your desk, whatever you're doing, just keep listening and you can mentally run through this audit with me. All right, let's get into it. Hey guys, I'm Elizabeth McCravy, an online educator for entrepreneurs, website designer, wife, boy mom, and your host for the Breakthrough Brand Podcast, the show that's all about pulling back the curtain on how to actually build a successful business. I don't skim the surface around here. If you want to dive deep into the nitty-gritty details of what it takes to run a sustainable business that fits your unique lifestyle while standing out in a crowd, then you are in the right place. I created a multiple 6-figure a year business in my early 20s, and now in my 30s, I'm still running that successful multiple 6-figure a year business on just part-time hours now as a working mom. I'm here to share everything I've learned and everything I'm still learning because I believe that the keys to building a thriving business should never be a secret. Here you'll find episodes that are actionable, direct, and fun, like friends chatting business over coffee, and a fresh, honest take on the reality of being an entrepreneur. If you're ready to master online marketing, website design, personal branding, mindset, time management as a busy parent, scalable and passive income, and business strategy, then this is the podcast for you. It's time to build your breakthrough brand. Let's do this. All right, friends, we have 5 questions and basically 5 elements, components of your website we're looking at today to figure this out of, is my website helping me or hurting me? What do I need to do to get things working, right? So real quick though, if you are new here or new to this podcast, new to me, or maybe, you've listened to a few episodes, but you're I don't actually really know what this girl's background is. Who am I and why am I talking about this? I'm going to give a 30-second spiel. So I'm Elizabeth. I've been a professional website designer for 10 years now and a business owner for about 9.5 years. And I've designed sites on Squarespace, WordPress, Show It, Weebly, Wix, custom coded, you name it. Also, does anyone else remember Weebly besides me? Send me a message if you do. But now for the last 5-ish years, I designed just on Show It. I'm really more 6 or 7 years even. It's hard to remember, but I've been designing on Show It for a really long time. And I've built custom websites for clients. And I've also sold website templates, which is basically a pre-made website that you buy and customize, or you hire someone to customize for your business. So what I do now mainly is I design website templates and sell them on my website, elizabethmccravy.com. And I've helped thousands of small business owners like you with their website, from it being their very first website ever, which I love to get to celebrate with people. That's can feel like the actual just launch of your business, right? To launch your first website, to also people where it's their 10th iteration of their business, or maybe they got their website template or got a website designed by a different designer. And now they're over here with me getting my quiz template or a Show It speaker page and all these cool add-ons I have. So there's a little background on me. And then now let's get into it. Like, these are the things I'd look at to figure out through my experience as a website designer, if what you have is working for you, or if it's like time to change things up, which changing things up can look a lot of different ways. It can look like completely overhauling your website, or just changing some things and just adding in some things. So there's a lot of different options here, and kind of failing this audit, so to speak, does not necessarily mean we got to start from scratch. Okay, so let's go through the steps. Step 1, okay? Are you with me still? Let's do this. Okay, step 1, the 30-second test is what I'm calling this. So if someone landed on your homepage right now, and homepage is the one we're going to focus on for this. So someone who doesn't know you, would they get who you are or what your business is, depending on kind of like more personal brand or just a company business? Would they understand though your business, who you are, what you do, and who it's for within 10 to 30 seconds? Okay. And if the answer is like, maybe or probably not, like, well, they might, but they would need to click onto this other page too to get it, or, there's a lot of information about this other thing, so it's kind of not that clear. Okay. If you're not really sure, this is your first clue that your site might just be confusing people. So you want to make it super obvious what it is your company does and who it is for. So your headline, which is that big text, the most notable thing that someone's going to read when they land on your homepage, it should clearly say what you do versus just being cute or like kind of fun way you describe things. So clarity always wins over cuteness, and clarity also wins over industry jargon that your ideal client might not even understand, or just using kind of like word salad to like make things sound really fun and fluffy. Okay. So instead of saying something like making magic happen online, okay, like what does that mean, right? You might even think about like what business could she even be referring to with that? But that could be something, right, that you could say making magic happen online. That's not what we want to do. Instead, you want to say something like, if it was my business, strategic show website templates for creative entrepreneurs. Okay. That's more specific of telling you exactly what it is. Or as an example for photographers, maybe you have something like capturing your beautiful moments from behind the lens. Again, that just, all that really tells me is that maybe you're a photographer for like reading between the lines, even though it doesn't say the word photography anywhere. So a better thing would be something like Seaside, Florida, luxury wedding photographer. Okay. Telling the location, the style, and what type of photographer you are, and then using the word photographer, right? So getting really specific. And that way your visitor immediately knows like, okay, this is for me. I'm going to keep scrolling. I'm going to click over to this other page. I'm going to click over to your Instagram or your TikTok or whatever they want to do next. So this is what I want you to do. Either do this yourself or ask a friend or your spouse or a roommate, whoever, to look at it for you. So say like, hey, I know you kind of already get what I do, but can you scroll my homepage real quick? Just send the link on their phone. Tell me, do you get it or not? Like, what would be a question you have if you were someone who landed on my website? So attention spans, y'all. I mean, it's crazy when I think about, like I said, I've been doing websites for 10 years now, and so much has changed in 10 years. It's crazy to think about. But like attention spans are getting shorter and shorter for people, which does bum me out. That's a whole different conversation, but it's so true. So the rise of like short form video has really done a number of us on expectations for how fast people should get things. So I feel like years ago, like when I was first starting out as a designer, there was a lot more room for someone to say something like, I don't get this. What's happening? Is this website for me? And they don't give up. They keep scrolling. Okay. They keep looking at your site, even though they're not sure. They give you a chance. Now they just give up. They're going to leave your website and go back to their Google search, or go back to the list ChatGPT gave them, or go back to Instagram and find another profile, like whatever it is. They're just going to like click off. They are going to give up very quickly. And so with that in mind, that's why this first step is so important, of like, you want to really grab attention through clarity of words and through both functional and beautiful design. Okay. So anyway, that's the first one. You're giving people 10 to 30 seconds to understand from your homepage who you are, what you do, and who it's for. Okay. So send it now. Pause this episode even and just send your website link to your spouse, a friend, a fellow business owner, someone you can ask this question to, of like, hey, do you get what I do? Okay, now for step 2. This one's simple. It's a question for you. I'm going to explain it a little more. You probably will have a gut check reaction to this. But does the design of your website feel like your brand? So your business evolves over time, and sometimes you need a fresh look to match where you are today. And that actually is not a dig on what you had before. It's just that things change. Your company changes and grows over time. I've had many iterations of my website in the 10 years I've had my business, because my business has changed. My offers has changed. The colors I've used, I've grown and changed as a person and the way I want to show up. So all that kind of stuff changes, right? So it is normal and okay for the fonts and colors you once used on your website to not be the right fonts and colors anymore, just to use those as an example. So just a few things that I thought of off the top of my head of signs that it might be time to part with the current design because it just doesn't align with your business anymore. So a few things. Just in a random order. You're using a totally different aesthetic for your business on social media or in email marketing, but you just left the old look on your website. So that'd be one sign that you just kind of abandoned things on your website, but you have your more updated look over on Instagram. That's a sign your website needs to come match the more updated look. Second, there's not cohesion on the website. So maybe it's every page is a different color palette and you're using 15 different fonts, just at random on different pages. And there's a million different colors. It's this one page kind of feels like this template you bought from this person. This other page feels like a template you bought from this person. This page feels like the custom designed thing you did, whatever it is. If it feels like there's no cohesion, that could be a good sign. Okay, third, the font choices feel busy, difficult to read, or it's hard for users to understand where to go next. That's just one, again, you just got to look at it and know. And if you're not sure, you could ask a designer hey, what do you think about this page? Does it feel too busy? Is it too difficult to read? You can kind of figure it out that way. Okay, you look at it and think, this was my business 5 years ago, but it's not anymore. Or this is where my business was 3 years ago, but I've changed and grown a lot. Or these headlines I'm kind of using align with my old offer suite, but not what I do anymore. So just kind of looking at that and knowing hey, this is the old iteration of my business versus where I am now. So those are all signs your website is more hurtful or confusing for a potential customer than helpful. And that it might be the right time to update your website to be one that feels more like where your brand and your business is today. Okay, step 3. So number 3, this is a big one. Have you looked at your website on your phone lately? So we're going to talk about mobile experience because, oh my gosh, this could be a nightmare that you don't even know is happening because you just had a blast designing your website on your desktop only and show it, and you ignored the mobile view, and now it's just a nightmare. So this is a real situation that happens to a lot of people. So I love Show It. I chose Show It to be the website platform I design custom sites on, and that works with all my templates. It's the only thing I use and what I recommend. And it's how, again, all my website templates are designed. But both a perk and a challenge with Show It is that the mobile is connected to desktop when you're designing, but you also still have to go in and place things separately, if that makes sense. So you can't just design your whole website on the desktop view and then everything's going to convert to look the exact same on mobile. That's actually, again, a really big benefit of Show It because the mobile experience and desktop experience are so separately customizable, which is actually really important because there's a lot of stuff you want to do differently from a design perspective, honestly, between the two. When I think about my templates as I design them, I often do stuff a lot simpler or just different to make it work for mobile versus desktop. So again, it's a really good thing. I've given birth to 3 children in the US without ever having traditional health insurance. And no, we didn't just pay those huge medical bills out of pocket each time. We found an affordable healthcare solution we truly love, Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM is a faith-based alternative to health insurance at half the cost. You can enroll at any time and join a proven faith-based solution that's both reliable and affordable. My family has been members for over 5 years now, and CHM shared all expenses for all 3 of my children's births from C-section to home birth. They even shared things like pelvic floor therapy and lactation consulting, which were both such huge blessings for birth prep and postpartum. And outside of birth, we've had our hard moments of emergency room visits and surgeries, and those costs were all shared by members at Christian Healthcare Ministries, leaving us only paying our monthly contribution. I seriously just can't recommend CHM enough. It's not just financial support, it's spiritual support when you need it most. Learn more at elizabethmccravy.com/CHM. That link is in the show notes too. And if you want the full story, Adam and I did a whole episode on our experience, so check out episode 305 of this podcast. Again, that's elizabethmccravy.com/CHM. Now back to today's show. Because over 60% of website traffic is mobile, so being able to get really custom on your mobile view is good. Which brings me to like, why are we so often ignoring mobile design, right? If 60% of traffic is on a phone, you could argue that like we should focus more, maybe start with mobile design as the focus. So if you have issues happening though, like the text is tiny, buttons are overlapping, photos look weirdly cropped, that is a problem. So scroll through your website. And again, if you have a giant website, just maybe pick some pages. You're going to get the gist of like, okay, do I need to like really fix this page? I need to start over even. That could be a solution sometimes. But scroll through and see, is this easy to use? Does it feel good to scroll? Like, do the buttons work? Are the pictures showing the person's face versus like cropping something off weird? And some pages I would say specifically to look at: your homepage, about page, blog. This can often be a problem area on mobile, actually, the blog, because stuff like is rendering differently on a phone versus on a desktop. And then look at one of your services or product pages just to get the gist. And then this should kind of tell you, okay, do I need to give some special attention over here? Or are things doing well? But again, this is just your reminder, don't ever ignore mobile. All right, we've got 2 more steps in this quick audit. So step number 4 is about personality and connection. And this is one where it's one of those things where like, once you have it, everything just clicks, okay? And it's hard to explain. It's like a secret sauce almost of like a really great website. But does your website actually sound and feel like you? Or does it just sound like your copywriter or like ChatGPT wrote it, or like a hodgepodge of looking and reading like every other person who does the same kind of work as you? Maybe you got your inspiration all these different places and it's not you, it's not your business, it's just a hodgepodge of everyone else. So if your copy and your design feels stiff or generic, people are not going to connect with it. So when we think about our writing on our website and the way we express ourselves, you want to sound like how you would talk on your podcast or your YouTube channel or your Instagram stories or in your DMs, or how you write when you make a carousel on Instagram with text over it. So a great website doesn't just show what you do, it really shows who you are as a business or as a person if you are more on the personal brand side of things. So look at things like the copy, look at your photos. Some stock photography is fine and good. I'm definitely a big fan of high quality stock photography and videography, but you also want to have an emphasis on your own work, right? So say you're a photographer. Yes, in that case, you want the majority of the photos on your website to be your work, but you also want to have your face on your website too. That personal connection goes a long way. So especially those of you who you're a designer, you're a photographer, you're something that's going to be more your work, your visual work forward on your website. People should not have to go all the way to your about page to see a photo of you. That should also be on your homepage and on other pages of your website as well, because the personal connection goes a long way. Another thing within this step about how we just want to connect. Is your website connecting? It's kind of the question we're asking here. But don't be afraid to share real information about yourself that will connect with someone beyond your resume and beyond who you are as a business owner. And that's something I have from day one emphasized as a designer, designing websites, because I have worked with so many personal brands or with people who are service providers and you're the one they're working with. So they want to connect with you. They don't want to just know how many years you've done the thing. They want to know like about you and your life as a person. So you'll see within my website templates and the add-ons too, there's just such an emphasis on allowing you through the design to really share about yourself. So some examples though, if you're like, I don't even know what I would say about myself, Elizabeth, here are some things you could say just off the top of my head. Do you have pets you love? Are you a parent? Are you part of a particular faith community? Do you have an interesting hobby or a hobby you're obsessed with that maybe you don't even think is interesting? What did you do before what you do now? How long have you been doing what you do? Are you married or in a relationship? What's your Enneagram type? Maybe you want to share that. I don't know. Maybe you're really into that. What are some books you really love? So this type of stuff should be on your website for that personal connection. Again, it's just what I want to emphasize here. And guys, when I was prepping for this episode, I looked through the showcase page on my website where I have, probably over 200 by now. You can see real websites from real template customers, people who purchase add-ons, people who have full site templates with me, and their testimonials as well. And a link out to their own site so you can go see it. You can know which template they purchased, all that, to help you kind of figure out, okay, like here's some real examples of people like me who use this template, and go look at their sites. But this is a testimonial from Marissa Glasser Creative, and shout out to Marissa. Her website is awesome. Y'all should go check her out. I'll link to her in the blog for this episode. But this is what she said about her Elizabeth McCravy template. So she said, this purchase was worth every penny, and Elizabeth is definitely going to be my recommended designer for friends looking for show it templates in the future. Before Elizabeth McCravy shop, my website was fine, but it felt like it was missing something. Okay, that's kind of what we're talking about here. Of like, what's that missing thing, right? Okay, to keep saying with what she was saying, it didn't feel like a full representation of the quality and quantity of my work as a photographer. I was a little overdue for a portfolio refresh, but I wanted to go an extra step above, and I added a blog, a resource guide, more client testimonials, and now have a better space to lay out sales copy for all my services. So that is what Marissa said about her experience using my templates. But again, she's a good example of this, right? Of like, she was feeling like her website was fine, but it was missing something. And now she has a website that she's showing all of her workouts. She's showing the quality and quantity. I feel like that's actually an interesting way to put it. Like sometimes when you haven't updated your website in forever, it looks like you've barely worked with anyone. Like maybe you've had 2 years worth of clients, but you haven't updated your portfolio. Might be time to do that. And sometimes doing it with a fresh website just to restart everything can be fun. But yeah, so check out Marissa. Again, linking to her in the blog for this episode in the show notes. You can find her there. And then also you can go to elizabethmccravy.com/showcase and see examples of all template customers, all different website templates they've used, all different industries, so many different industries, and see how they've used my templates. So that was step 4 though, of basically you're asking yourself, does the website actually sound and feel like you? And if it doesn't, might be hurting your business more than helping. Okay, our last step, and this one's a really simple one. Again, some of these are just like gut check questions, honestly, but this one is your website doing its job? Is your website actually doing its job? Like, so I want you to ask yourself right now, what's the main goal of your website? Here are some example goals: to book clients, to sell digital products, to grow your email list, to get people to click over to your podcast or your YouTube channel, to get people to go buy your book at a bookstore or on Amazon. Whatever that main job is it happening? Like, is that happening for you and for your business? Is it happening through your website? And again, just a simple question. And the answer is, if not, it's time to tweak and adjust. Sometimes the design looks great, but the strategy isn't clear. Or sometimes the design is off, even though you have great strategy. And so that's what makes the difference between a pretty website and one that's actually profitable, is about having that strategy and great design. So it could be time for a complete overhaul or time to just add in some new things and update some things. So I have one more quick testimonial that, again, as I was going through my own showcase on the site, I felt like encompassed this one. So this is from Design Our Travel, which is a travel agency. So shout out to them, linking to them too. They use the Alice template. So she says, before using the Alice template, I was piecemealing each page together, which made my website clunky and unorganized. The Alice template allowed my website to still have so many working and moving parts, yet it flows and it's interactive as if I spent thousands of dollars on it. My traffic has increased. People are filling out forms and requesting more information. So this is a great example of someone who it wasn't working. Maybe her old website, she's like, it wasn't working. It was piecemeal together. It was clunky. It was unorganized. And now she has a new website through my templates. People are filling out her contact form. They're requesting more information, increased traffic to her website, all huge wins there. So congrats to you on that. And yeah, that's what we want, right? We want those things changing. We want our websites doing its job. It's not just there because someone told you have to have a website. It's there to actually do great work for your business. So that's it. That's your 5-minute website audit. I'm going to quickly go through like the main question point in each of those things again. And then we'll close out with a few more things. Okay, so the first one, step 1, was just it's sending your website to someone. They need to be able to know who you are, what you do, and who it's for within 10 to 30 seconds of being on your homepage. So that's the first step in this 5 minutes. Second step, does the design feel like your brand? Just ask yourself that question. Does this feel like me? Because your brand does evolve and change over time. So does it still feel right, or does it feel like someone else or not where you are now? Step 3, mobile. Okay. Have you looked in on your phone? Is mobile clunky because 60% of your traffic or more actually, depending on what kind of business you have, might be people on their phones. Okay. Number 4, does your website actually sound and feel like you, or does it sound like ChatGPT or like a hodgepodge of every other person who does the same thing as you? Because we want it having that personality connection. So are you setting yourself up well to connect on a personal level with your ideal audience? And then step 5 is just simply, is your website actually doing its job of getting people to buy, to fill out your contact form, to take the steps to work with you? So if you do that simple test and now you're feeling like, okay, my website does need updates, that is what I'm here for. Truly, if you've enjoyed this podcast and never checked out my templates, I really just want to encourage you to do that. And I've got so many options. So sometimes I think you really do just need a fresh start and you need to have a new website. You might know that that's you if that's your case, or if you're not sure, send me an email at hello@elizabethmccravy.com, link to your website, and we can help you figure out like, hey, do we need to start fresh, or are there some add-on templates, some things we could shift here to keep what you're doing and help you get an upgrade at a lower cost or get an entirely new site, right? But I have options for both, which is such a fun thing for me to be able to offer, and fun for my customers too. But we have add-ons of things like a timeline for your about page or to showcase steps in your services, a link in bio page for your Instagram, a quiz template. That's a really popular one. And I see people buy this one all the time to add to their existing site. And that can be a huge upgrade for growing your business, growing your email list, just by like adding on a quiz using the quiz template. There's podcast pages, landing pages for your email opt-ins, sales pages you can customize for your offers, a speaker page if you're trying to get more into public speaking or podcasting. So many options there. And then there are the full site templates where it's a whole website and blog ready for you to go. Think of it like a website in a box for you to customize. And it comes with pre-selected fonts and colors, but you can also change those. And I have the Show It Blueprint course that comes with every purchase that guides you through some of that. So if you hear me say, you can change the fonts and colors, and you're thinking like, oh my gosh, that sounds kind of stressful, I wouldn't know what to do. That course helps you with that kind of stuff to help you understand how to pick and what to change out and all of that kind of stuff. So anyway, go check out my templates, elizabethmccravy.com/shop. And if you're listening to this live, my big Black Friday sale is actually coming up really soon. So I just had an interrupter from my sweet son, Colin, who wants to say hi on the podcast. You say hi?
Hello.
Hello. Can you say hello, Breakthrough Brand listeners?
Hello for white listeners.
Yeah. So that was Colin. I'm recording this on a Saturday, actually, while my husband Adam is with all 3 of the kids. So real life podcasting here. But what I was saying, just to close this out real quick, thank you for listening all the way to the end. But if you are in the market for a new website and you're looking at 2026 being like, this is the year that I'm going to do the big upgrade, or that I need to do the add-on to really improve my business, this is the time to shop. This is my biggest sale of the year. And you can actually go to elizabethmccravy.com/BF, short for Black Friday. So elizabethmccravy.com/BF to get on the wait list for information about Black Friday. So you can just sign up right now and then forget about it until the sale starts. And then I will email you when it starts with all the sales details, so you can go buy the template you need to improve your website. And if you're listening, the sale's already live, then all the information will be at that page. So that's elizabethmccravy.com/BF. And yeah, thank you guys for joining on this episode and listening along. And if you do have any questions, or you're like, as you did this audit, feeling like you need a second set of eyes on something, again, you can email myself and my team at hello@elizabethmccravy.com, and we can kind of point you in the right direction for maybe what you need, give you a designer eye on your website stuff. All right. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hey, thank you for listening to the podcast all the way to the end. I appreciate you being here. And if you enjoyed this episode, then I want to invite you to check out my website template shop too. Over on elizabethmccravy.com, you'll find Show It website templates that are easy to use, strategically designed, and created to help you make more money from your website. Maybe your current website is really boring. Maybe it's a challenge to update, and maybe it's even the thing you feel like is holding your business back. Your website needs to be strategically and intentionally designed in order for it to convert your viewers into raving customers, and that's exactly what my templates do. These templates are designed to be SEO friendly on the back end, not just pretty, and also strategic with all the strategies I teach on the show, and they are easy for you to set up all by yourself. So shop them at elizabethmccravy.com/shop and come join thousands of happy customers using these templates. And as an added perk, you can use the code BBPodcast at checkout to get 10% off your template as a thank you for being part of the podcast fam. Again, that's BB Podcast for 10% off any template over on ElizabethMcCravy.com. Also, if you loved this episode, leaving a rating and review for the show on wherever you're listening or sharing it with a friend is a great way to support this podcast. Thank you again for listening, and I'll be back next week with a new episode. If managing your business's finances feels daunting and you typically come to the end of the month not sure how to pay yourself, or if you're doing the business savings thing, quote unquote, right, then I have a free guide for you. Over my 9 years of business, I've learned some financial skills the hard way, and a few years ago, I developed an 8-step process I go through at the end of each month. This process helps me know how my business is doing financially, pay myself well, and allocate money for things like taxes and expenses, and also document notes about the month that'll help me make financial decisions in the future. Again, I've been doing this process since early 2023, and it truly has changed the way I do my business for the better and has helped me ultimately make more money. And I want to help you do the same. So you can grab this 8-step process literally for free at elizabethmccravy.com/profit. There's a whole PDF guide for you there that you can download and go through for free. That's elizabethmccravy.com/profit.